Well, as you can see, I haven't done a whole lot. All I've been doing is just basically driving the heck out of this van since I put the new transmission in. And I did put up this partition between the front and the back, which I liked a lot more. I want this van to look like a work van. I don't want it looking like a camper van at all. I will get the windows tinted, and then on the outside of the windows I'm going to have that vinyl put on with the holes in it, make it harder to see inside, kind of make the whole van look white also. But yeah, the partition, I put it in. Like I said, I wanted it to look more like a work van. I will put some polyiso right here, cover it all up, cover up the top. I mean, I don't really need it to be too stealthy because I'm really just taking it, to go camping. But I don't want everybody looking into it also. So, I mean, I'm not going to string a curtain across or anything, but I will come up to the very top with a polyiso. And, I mean, some 1-inch polyiso will fit in those grooves right there perfectly. And cover up all the holes and everything and give it a little bit more insulation on the inside, because I like to do winter camping. I like to go out camping when there ain't nobody around. There's no bugs to bother me, and so I do want this to be fairly insulated. I will be insulating the top. I've got the fat mat coming in, which I will be putting on the wheel wells. I'll be putting it on the floorboard, on the floor of the van, and I haven't decided. I mean, it's a 4-foot by 25-foot roll of the stuff that's coming in. So I know I'll have enough to do the floorboards and the floors and then the wheel wells. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put it on the ceiling and stuff like that or just use polyiso. But I am also having this radiant barrier that I had to get shipped to me also. It should be here tomorrow. And it's got silver foil on one side and a kind of a recycled denim insulation on the other side, and it's 3/8 of an inch thick, which that is going to go on top of the fat mat that I put on the floor of the van. Then that'll go on top of it, and then on top of that I will be putting 1/2-inch plywood. And I'm going to probably do some 1/2-inch sanded birch, which looks really good. And then I'll kind of give it a light stain, and then some real good polyurethane on top, so it'll kind of shine a little bit. I know it's a work van, but it probably won't be used a whole lot for working. And then I'll start deciding what I want to do with the walls. If I'm going to use polyiso on the walls, and then kind of a what do you call that? Paneling on the side here. I did find some pretty nice looking 1/8-inch paneling over at Lowe's that doesn't have the grooves, doesn't look like the old-fashioned paneling. It's just kind of a sanded plywood paneling that's an 1/8-inch thick, and that will go on the walls, covering that up, go on the ceiling, cover that up. I ordered the Fantastic Van, which is going to go right there. You can see the light there, and right before the light, I'm going to be putting that in. That light will be coming out. I'll be putting in some LED lights in here so I don't have to worry about it running the battery down too far. Too much anyway. And then I'll go to insulating the top, probably like I said with some polyiso, and then put the paneling up on the top also. And then I'm going to take the paneling, and the reason I'm doing the sanded plywood 1/8-inch paneling is then I'll give it a coat of Kilts and go ahead and paint it white and make it look all nice and clean in here. I want it to be real sterile looking. And then same thing with whatever the cabinets or, the bed will go across here. The bed will go across. It's going to be a pretty good sized bed. It'll be, I've got 6 foot 2 inches from that rib above the wheel well all the way over to that rib on the wheel well. So I'm a short guy. I'm 5'6", so I could sleep long ways. And it's probably going to be a 5 foot by, like I said, 6 foot 2 inches, and probably be about, between 20 and 24 inches above the floor. That gives me lots of room. Lots of room for storage underneath. Put some bins, put all my camping gear under there. My lanterns and everything like that. I will be taking a kind of a shelter, but it's mostly just a net type shelter to sit inside. If you don't want to sit inside the van when it's raining, you can sit inside the net shelter, which works really well out in the rain. I've used it several times. And then over here on this side, there will be a cabinet. Right there where that bucket is, there'll be a cabinet there with the 2 batteries. I'm going to have 2 Alpha Cell, 114 amp hour each, running in series. Running in parallel, so I make, one big 214 amp hour battery, or 228 amp hour battery, and then right next to it there'll be just some storage area right there. And then over here on this side in front of the bed, coming up to probably right about here where the door stops, so you can see the door, and right about where the door stops, there will be another cabinet, which on one side will have the sink, and eventually underneath the bed I'm going to put a 20-gallon water tank, and there'll be a sink right here with the shower head, pump underneath so you can run the sink. And from there probably either have it draining out underneath the van, because being out in the woods, it doesn't matter if you drop your gray water like that on the ground. That's all it'll be, is gray water. And then on the front part of the sink there'll be another little cabinet top that I can set the when I open up this door. Hold on one second. Excuse me there. And when I open up this door, there'll be a cabinet standing right here, and I can sit there and fold. I'm going to be able to fold it out. And right here in the front will be where I can cook and put the stove and everything. Like I said, this is mainly going to be just for camping, so it don't have to be stealth. I don't have to worry about, being stealthy when I'm cooking or anything. It's just going to be something that I can use. Now, I have been thinking about getting some type of awning that I can mount to this ladder rack up here, because I don't plan on taking the ladder rack. I'm going to leave it up there so it'll look like a work van, not a camper van. But I was thinking about getting some type of awning that I could mount up there, and then when I'm not camping I could just unmount it. But then that way I can have a sunshade awning that comes up above the van, goes out. I've seen a couple of guys with some, but of course they have different racks on the roof than I've got on mine. They've got a cargo type rack. I'm using a ladder rack, so we'll have to modify, do something. But anyways, the ladder will come off when I go camping. I won't take it. It just kills the gas mileage, so I won't be using it. I won't be carrying it up there. But then I do have 2 other cargo racks that'll fit up here, and that way I can mount the I'll be able to mount the solar panels up there, which I have 2 Kyocera solar panels, 100-watt solar panels coming in, and I should hopefully get those within the next week also. So I've got everything ordered. Well, not everything, but I've ordered quite a bit to at least get started. Hopefully I'll get the fat mat by tomorrow, and I'll be able to get this the floor and the wheel wells, have the fat mat on there. That'll give me some more sound barrier on there, because the road noise coming out of the wheel wells is really loud. Also really loud coming off the floorboard here. I will have to do a little bit of fix in there. There were some bolts that were down in there that are now gone, so I'll cover those up with some silicone and get all the holes covered up, banged down. Right about there is a huge hole right there, which is sticking up. And I'm going to pound that back down a little bit, make it a little flatter, and then cover up the hole. And do the same thing with the rest of the cargo van here, and get started on it. I'd like to get the floor finished by the weekend, get the fat mat down, get the radiant barrier with the denim insulation put in, and then get the plywood laid down. I'd like to have that done by this weekend, and then hopefully by next weekend I'll be able to start on the walls and the ceiling. You know, I want to get all that insulation in, or polyiso put in, so that I can start doing the wiring. I want to get my wiring and stuff up before I get the paneling done on the side walls and the ceiling. That way I can cover it all up, and it'd be a little bit nice, clean look to it. So, anyway, talk to you next time, YouTube. Thanks.